So in the previous lecture, we took up an example on multi-stage cross current, right? So and the idea was there that we showed that multi-stage cross current performs better than a single stage, and in the sense that if we fix the total amount of solvent, then multi-stage cross current will give much lower raffinate concentrations, treated feed, than the single stage. Or if we have more number of stages, then amount of solvent required will be lesser in case of multi-stage than in this single stage if we fix the raffinate concentrations. So that was the main example. Of course, we made a material balance, and we also said that one can work graphically as well as one can work by solving the equations, except that when you solve the equations, then you look for a relation between y and x for the equilibrium. So in that case, you have additional equations. So generally what happens thermodynamically, all these data are available in the tabular form instead of the equations. So it's it's better, more convenient to work graphically, plot all this yx data for the equilibrium, and then beyond that, one should do both, try to plot graphically with the slope which you calculate, or try to solve analytically to see that you're reading the correct values or you're marking the correct coordinates. Okay, so it's recommended that you try to be familiar in both ways, graphically as well as analytically, solving using the equations. Today we take up one more example on this cross current multi-stage extractions. Except what do we do here? We take a different type of systems. So earlier we had A plus B plus C, and we had to rely on this Terney diagram or equivalent to that Terney diagram. We worked on the rectangular coordinate, of course. Today we take up an example where we say that the two are immiscible liquids. So you can go back and previous class notes where we had that type of systems. So we have A, B, C. Say A is the feed and it contains some C. We bring in contact with the solvent, but the solvent is immiscible with the feed. So it's only the C which is getting distributed between A and B. So you can realize that, or you can appreciate that this is a simpler example. All right. So here we will have the same analysis, and we will see that much simpler form of this equilibrium curve should suffice. Okay. So let's take this example on insoluble liquids. So what we are trying to say here, you should go back and see the previous lectures on extraction. Extracting solvent, which we call B, and feed solution, A, are insoluble. And C, which is the solute, is soluble in both A and B. So in other words, if we have feed here A and we bring in contact with B solvent, then at the equilibrium we will have plus C here and plus C here. So it's C is the transferring components. A and B are immiscible. Or they are insoluble liquids. So recall in earlier cases we worked on this triangular graph like ABC, like this, but now we are saying that A and B, they are insolubles. So you do not have any intersection here. So generally if this is C and A and B, you take A and C, then there will be some phase diagram intersections like this. In other words, this is much simpler case, and equilibrium curve like y versus x should be sufficient. So we are saying that x is C over A, C is dissolved in A, and here we have y C over B. So the notation is a similar convention. We are following the similar conventions. So we are plotting kg of solute per kg of solvent, and here also we have kg of solute per kg of A, right? So we have this y versus x. This diagram should be sufficient, all right? And here, of course, we can have the cross current multi-stages. So feed A is brought in contact with the solvent, say stage 1, some B1, we have extract, and we have this raffinate, and we have different amount of solvents, B2, B3, and we have treated, extract phase solvent, and we have the treated phase here with raffinate R3, R2, R1, alright. Now since A and B they are insolubles, then you should also appreciate that instead of working on y x, one can work on y dash and x dash. So in other words, it's better to work on x over 1 minus x. So here maybe C over A, this is like this, so this will also work, or y versus x, if we write C over A plus C, and y as C over B plus C, alright. So either of these two equilibrium diagrams should work, but again, if you recall in our previous discussion on absorption as well, if you work on solid free basis, then you make advantage of linear operating curve, alright. So of course this is the most fundamental here, more fundamental than this. Then we like to convert this yx to y prime and x prime, working on this solid free basis. So we had several examples in the past, we would like to work on this. So again, going back to this stages here, so if you have cross current, we can redraw, say let's say with 3 stages. So 3, 2, 1, A gets in here, and we have R3, and we have this solvent getting in, and we have extract E1, E2, E3. So if we make a balance on, say, let's say nth stage, alright, so we can write A x prime. So now we are working on solid free basis, because we realize that A does not get transferred into this extract phase, so it's better to work on x dash. So we have x dash n minus 1, right? So this is x1, this is x2. So at the nth stage, incoming is x dash n minus 1 plus the amount of solvent in the nth stage is Bn. This may have some solute y dash s. This will be equal to Bn yn prime plus A x n prime, and yn and xn, they are in equilibrium, alright. So we can rearrange this equation to make it A over Bn. We had y dash dash. Notice that A remains the same for the same reason that A and B are insolubles, and the amount of solvent could be different in different stages. So we have this Bn. So A over Bn, right, amount of feed to the ratios amount of solvent can be rearranged to write like y at s dash prime minus yn dash over x dash n minus 1 minus xn. In other words, now if you work on this equilibrium curve with y dash and x dash, and if you have this equilibrium curve like this, say there's some amount of solvent, so this is y dash and x dash, extract phase and the raffinate. Then starting with this, say a certain amount of feed, you take this slope of minus A over B1, you have the equilibrium, get down here, then take another slope here and get down here, take another slope, etc. So that with stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, you can find out how much amount you have brought down in the raffinate phase starting from here. So this is based on your extractions. Here we are saying that we have insoluble liquids A and B they are insolubles. It's C which is getting transferred to A and transferred to B. So let's take this example. So numerically we can take this example here. Let's say nicotine. Right, so nicotine in water. Okay, water solutions. So that means we are saying that nicotine and this water consists of nicotine plus water, the solutions. So nicotine in water solution containing 1% weight by weight nicotine is extracted with kerosene. All right. So, and we make a note that water and kerosene are insoluble or considered to be insoluble. So, this is an example of the previous section we discussed earlier also. So, nicotine from the statement you can make out it's a C solute, water so it's A, and the solvent kerosene is B or S. But A and B they are insoluble. All right. So in this case, we said that this type of diagram will also work, except that this becomes unnecessary because A and B we don't have any phase here. You can have phase on A and C and C and B here. So if we take a solution of A and B and it all will allow for settle, we can have some separations here, right, or between C and B. So such cases we look for y versus x, that's sufficient, or y prime over x prime, solute free basis. So what we do, we require first thing is that thermodynamic data for solubility. Okay. So again, it's recommended you go visit some site or make use of certain handbook on thermodynamic data for this nicotine, water, and kerosene. The system you will have phase diagram, or you will have the phase data like this: x dash y dash. You have kg of nicotine, kg of nicotine here, per kg of water, and you have kg of nicotine per kg of kerosene. So you have 0, say 0, you will have some data, say 0.0001, 011, maybe 0.00502, 0.0204, corresponding to this 0.000807, 0.00456, 0.0187. So this data are available in the literature, some textbook on thermodynamics, or Treball, McCabe-Smith, or the book by Datta. You can go through those and collect this data. The problem here is that it says you take 100 kg of feed. So when we say feed, it's water and nicotine, and it's treated with 150 kg of solvent, which is kerosene here. All right. So this is step 1. Step B says same 100 kg of feed is treated 3 times with 50 kg of kerosene. So the total amount of the solvent is the same, 150 kg. So one time you do it 1 time, and second time you do it 3 times. Take the raffinate, again treat with 50 kg, take it the second raffinate, treat with 50 kg. And the question asked is, similar questions, what is the raffinate concentration X, from the third stage NP in the 2 cases, which is more effective, using 150 kg 1 time or 50 kg 3 times. Now mind you, this is a batch problem, but previous lecture we also said that there is no difference between this problem and if we have the flow problem. where we say that, well, we bring 100 kg per hour or per unit time in contact with 150 kg per hour in one stage, or we bring 50 kg per hour in three stages. So, our mathematical analysis will be the same whether it's a batch problem or it's a flow problem. So, although the problem was asked for the batch, we can treat this as a flow problem, and we can use a similar schematics which we used. So we have this feed A, bring in contact with the solvent, stage 1, treat this, take the raffinate R1, bring in contact with the second stage, treat this R2, bring in contact with the third stage, same around 50 kg, you have 50 kg per hour. All right, and how much is your raffinate concentrations? R3 here. So these are the extract E1, E2, E3. This is feed is 100 kg per hour. So F, okay, it contains 1%. So XF is 1% or 0.01 weight by weight kg per kg. Right, so idea is the same whether you have 3 stages or you do it 3 times. And of course we will compare this with just one stage where I bring it like this, and treat with 150 kg per hour. So same feed, 100 kg per hour, brought in contact with this. We like to compare this concentrations with this concentrations. Okay, so let's start. Say the feed is 0.01. As we said, we should work on solid free basis. So X prime is 1%. So this is 1 over 100 minus 1. So this number is 0.0101. Slightly different from here. And A, right? So it's A, which is pure water. So we are saying that A is now 100 into 1 minus 0.01. This is equal to 99 kg of water. So generally we make a mistake here. This F is 100 kg per hour. You should read the statement correctly. Solution is 100 kg per hour, but the water is 99 kg per water. Okay, because we are working on this quantity XF dash. If you work on XF, then we should work on F. But right now we are working on solute free basis. So it's A is like this. B here is 150 kg, and B here is 50 kg each. So let's see this. So what we do first is we plot y versus x dash. So let's say this is the diagram. This is the equilibrium curve. Okay, and now we should mark this. So what is the feed? Feed is 0.0101. So first thing is that when you plot this x dash y dash, you must when the data are given, there's no need to go beyond say 0.0101. It should scale properly. This we have said so many times earlier, that from the diagram you should choose the largest feed concentrations which is available here, because all concentrations will be smaller than this, so that you can scale up properly starting from 0 to 0.0101. So go back to the equations, the first operating line equations. We have the slope of minus a over bn. Here of course is one stage. So the slope of this operating line is minus 99, that's water, divided by 150, which is minus 0.66. So this is XF or XF prime dash. With this, take a slope of minus 0.66. So let's say this is slope tan theta, or this divided by this, except this is negative here. So take a slope, scale, draw this curve, read this data here. This is 0.0038, and read this data here, which is 0.00425. We said earlier you can work mathematically, writing down the equations material balance for one stage, species balance for one stage, with 2 incoming streams and 2 leaving streams, with the constant that the 2 leaving streams they satisfy these equations or these coordinates, their coordinates y dash and x dash, they lie on this equilibrium curve. So you can solve mathematically as well if you know the equilibrium of, if you know the equation for these data. But we said that generally all these data are in tabular forms, so it's more convenient to work on this graphically. All right. So from this we read 0.00425. So how much nicotine we have removed? Nicotine removed is 99. That was a feed, and we started with 0.0101 minus 0.00425. So we have 0.58 kg per 100 kg. All right. So we can say that we have removed 58% of nicotine. Keep this number in mind. Again, you know, working graphically or writing down the equations, we have A xf dash prime, solvent was pure, so we have y dash dash 0. Then we have treated raffinate x1 x prime plus b y prime. All right, so A is known, B is known, xf dash is known. These are the two unknowns. We require one more equations. So we have y dash and x dash in equilibrium. So they satisfy this equation. Say this is fx. So we have this equilibrium star for this. So two unknowns, two equations. One can solve to obtain A over B, which is y dash over xf dash minus x1 dash. So same as what we have done graphically. You should be able to get the same results if we know the equation of this line here. But okay, so now let's go to the second part where we are saying that now we are using 3 stages. So now we have 3 stages and we are going to use 50 kg each. So the total amount of solvents is still the same, 150 kg per hour. So we have this equilibrium curve, y dash, x dash, and here maybe maximum you go till 0.012. Here maybe you mark till 0.008. So right now you have the idea that everything you should be able to address between this scale of 0 to 0.012 and the scale of 0 to 0.008 for y dash. So we start from, again this is f dash, which is 0.0101. Now you have to find out A over Bn. All right, here all this amounts are equally distributed, 50 kg per hour. So now we have minus 99 over 50. See, that's the difference here. Instead of 150, now we have 50. Therefore, the slope of this new curve is minus 1.98. So it is less. You will expect that this is your now less inclined. Okay, so we have, say, let's see, this is with the slope of minus 1.98. Earlier maybe you had some other slope here with minus 0.66. This was the previous example where we had a slope of minus 0.66. Anyway, we don't need this right now. So we draw with the slope of minus 1.98, and here we have this equilibrium. So we are talking of stage 1, bring in contact with this and this, 2 are in equilibrium. So we reach here, pure solvent, so 0, come to this stage. If you read this number, this should be 0.007. Again, from here take the same slope because amount A by Bn remain the same. So draw a parallel line to this. So this line and this line, it's in parallel. So read the raffinate concentration, the second stage. So now we are here, stage 2. Read this number as 0.005. So first stage we have reduced the concentrations from 0.012 to 0.007. Second stage, let's write down one stage, let's write second stage, we have brought down to 0.005. Again take the same line, same slope, and plot here. You should be able to read this number, the third stage, as 0.0034. So now we have the third stage, and this raffinate concentration is 0.0034. Alright, so what we answer here, how much amount of nicotine we have removed? Amount of nicotine removed. We had 99 kg of feed. We started with 0.0101 minus, now we have brought down to the level of 0.0034. To obtain this number is 0.663 or 66.3% removal. So compare this number 66.3 with earlier case we had 58% removal. Okay, so we see the advantage here using 3 stages, multi stages instead of single stages. Alright, and this is also very similar to earlier example which we took for cross current, but we had ternary system A plus B plus C. Here all we said that the similar cross current examples, but we have A and B which are insoluble. So the idea remains the same. Multi stage is preferable than the single stage. Alright, either you say that you want to bring down to the level of feed concentrations from one to another concentration. So for the same raffinate concentration, the amount of feed is smaller. We require lesser amount of solvent in case of multi-stage. Or if you want to keep the same amount of solvent, then one can show that the raffinate concentration in case of multi-stages will be smaller than the single stage. Okay, so these are the two examples we have used for cross current, and now we should take another example on counter current multi-stage. Okay, so that was also our previous discussion lectures. Now we have also stage wise, except now the feed enters from the left and the solvent is entering from the last stage counter currently. So they don't see each other, and we have the treated feed raffinate, and we have the extract solvent phase leaving the first stage. They don't see each other. All it means they are not in equilibrium. Okay, every stage inside, yes, the two living streams, they are in equilibrium if we consider them to be ideal stages. Okay, and here we'll have the equilibrium diagram. Now let's take an example that all A, B, C, they are partially solubles. So we have this ternary phase diagram. Okay, so let's take this example here. So this example on multi-stage counter current. Multi-stage counter current stages. Okay, or we have this extractor. We are talking about extractions. That's the unit operations. And let's say we have the system acetaldehyde. So acetaldehyde in water is removed or is to be removed using pure solvent, which is ether in our case, or isopropyl ether. So from the statement, this is C, solute, impurity. We have water, A, feed, and we have the solvent, which is B or S we use. And problem with statement is that solute is 50% weight by weight. We bring down, so this is maybe XF, and we have been asked to treat this to bring down to the level of 5% weight by weight. Okay. Solution flow rate, so this is A or F. F is 0.025 kg per second. So this is a solution feed rate. Okay, and the amount of solvent, that's also, let's say that S or B here is also 0.025 kg per second. So we are treating this feed with the equal flow rate of the solvent, and then we can ask the questions, say how many feeds, how many stages are required, how many stages are required? That's one question. We have also been asked to say, mark all these lines. What is the extract flow rates, E1, E2, etc. in the different stages. We have been also asked to find out how much is the amount of the raffinate leaving each stages. Okay. We have also been one more small questions that find the ratios R2 over E3. All right. So when we say R2 over E3, this is the second stage and this is third stage. So we are following the similar nomenclatures. R2 is this stream which originates from the stage 2, and E3 is the stream which originates from third stage. So we are talking of molar flow rate or kg weight flow rates of R2 and E3, the stream which leaves the second stage and the stream which arrives stage number 2 from the stage number 3. So what is this ratios here? So essentially we have to determine all the composition of every streams leaving all the stages and their flow rates. Okay, we will address this one in the last. What is R2 over E3? Do we have to calculate separately R2 and E3 and then take the ratios, or there is a way to just calculate the ratios? Okay, so it's very important that we also understand. We read the problem carefully. It says that what is the ratios of R2 over E3? That means we do not have to necessarily calculate the values of numerical values of R2 and E3 separately. All we have to do is to take the ratios, right? So these are things we have to calculate in this example. And again, we have been given equilibrium data diagram. So again, it's recommended you can do some literature survey, go through some physical handbook of data for 3 compositions A, 3 components A, B, and C. All right, for acetaldehyde, for water, and then you have this ether, isopropyl ether. It's a very common system of A, B, C, and most of the textbooks, Treball, McCabe-Smith, or if you do Google search or any physical handbook, they will give information on A, B, and C. So you will have extract, and you will have the raffinate, and you will see A, B, C here. You will see A, B, and C here. All right. Then you have to draw. You have to take this type of triangular graph, equilateral triangle. This is also available in most of the bookstores, or again from the internet. You have to download this type of graph paper. Okay. Sometimes it's available that this equilibrium diagram is already tabulated or already plotted, so that you don't have to plot this equilibrium diagram. So for us, it's for this lecture, we start with this. It's available to us. A, we have this B here, we have the solid C here. It's acetaldehyde. A is water, and we are using the solvent isopropyl ether, and we have this equilibrium phase diagram like this. So this is marked like this. A is 100%. So let's say this is 100 here. Then we'll have 90, 80, 70, 60, etc. So this is, let's say here it is 10. So this is 100. So if you look at this is 10%. It's 100%. All right. So that means without saying, this is A actually. What they are writing here is A. Amount of A decreases in this direction. Amount of C decreases in this direction. So 100% C is here. So when we write 10% C here, then this is your A. C would be 90% here. So if this is A is 80%, or say this is 20% here. So if this is 20% here, then C would be 80%. So you will see the lines like this. We have talked about this in the very first lecture here. Okay. Similarly, A to B, this is 100% here, and A is 0%. A is 100% here. So if in this direction B increases, so we can also have level like this. So when we say 70%, this is 70% of B here. A would be 30%. Okay. Similarly, some levels here. So let's say this is 90 here. Let's say this is 10 here. So C increases in this direction, so it's 10, 20, 30, then we have 90, then we have 100, and B increases in this direction. Okay, so not necessarily in the graph, one has to understand, that A in which directions A, B, and C increases, or what are these numbers reflect here. So first thing is this, and then on this graph also you will have tie lines. So this is your Y versus X. So essentially also you have a data Y versus X, which you have marked and which you have connected here. So this is extract, and this side it's a raffinate. Somewhere here you will have plate points P. Okay, so this is, we are starting from here. So instead of tabular diagram, we are starting with this graphical equilibrium phase diagram, and we would like to mark those points where are how many stages are required, starting from 50% of feed to get down to this 5%. Okay, so let's again replot this phase diagram qualitatively. C, A, B, we have this phase diagram. So feed, let's mark the first point, which is, so this, let's say this is stage 1, stage 2, let's take arbitrary stage or last stage NP. So we have feed getting like this, let's put a break here, and then we have treated feed, and we have counter current, this is solvent S, this would be RNP, nomenclature NP stands for the stage from where this raffinate phase originates. So this should be extract ENP. Alright, so this should be E1, this is F, so this should be R1, then R2, etc. So this is E2 again, and similar corresponding weight fractions. Of course this S is YS, it's a pure solvent, so this YS is 0. And here we say that feed XF, this composition XF was 50%, so this is 0.5. First thing we should do, we should mark this point. So this is 0.5, which will correspond to 50%. So on this scale we say 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, so this should be 50 here. Similarly this will increase to make this 100%. So A is 100%, you should be careful with the scale here. So it represents the amount of A as you go along in this direction. So 0.5 we mark. So this stream composition we have marked. We know the solvent is 0, YS. So this is 100% pure solvent, so there is no solute in this. So this is P here. We can connect this point. Alright. So if we know the amount of F, we know the amount of solvent. We know these compositions, we know its compositions. Essentially, mathematically what we are writing here is F plus S. We are writing this, giving rise to some mixture M. Okay. Of course, this mixture M will also be equal to E1 plus RNP. So we are making overall material balance. F plus S, 2 incoming streams and 2 leaving streams, E1 and RNP. They are miles apart. They are not in equilibrium. At every stage, yes, there is an equilibrium. These 2 living streams overall, they are not in equilibrium, like this. Okay, and we know its compositions: F XF plus S into YS. Of course, YS here is 0. Will also be equal to M XM. So hypothetical mixture here M. See, they do not see each other. Unlike you can make a balance for one stage where you can say that 2 streams they mix each other. So F is here, S is here. So this M is hypothetical point. Physically it doesn't exist. In graph, of course, we can mark this M and XM. This will also be equal to E1 into Y1. So this is Y1 plus RNP into XNP. So knowing this coordinate here 0.5 and 0 and the amount of solvent S and F is given to us, S is given to us, right, the same amount 0.025 kg per second. Both mathematically as well as graphically we can find the mixing M. So let's say this is M here or XM. So M location is here, and if you do this calculation here, XM, this is nothing but 0.025 multiplied by 0.5 plus S is also 0.025, but solute is pure, it's a pure solvent, so it's 0 here, multiplied by F plus S 0.05, you have 0.25. So when you read this 0.25, it's nothing but 25%. So C is here is 100%. That means this number which you are going to read, this would be between 20 and 30. All right. So this would be exactly, this is 20, 10. So 0, 10, 20, 30. This would be 0.25. Solute increases in this direction till it is 100%. Okay. So we mark this point here. All right. Now X and P is also given to us. This X and P is 5%. Very small amount of solute in the treated raffinate concentration. Raffinate. So again, go to the scale of AC. A is your feed raffinate, and C is here is the solute. So C is 100% here, and we are looking for 5%. Then you have to get down to this level. Maybe this is 10. So you're going to read 0.05 here. So this is R and P or X and P. Right. So when you know this M, so now we are talking of the second set of equations. So this plus this, we know the M, connect this M here to mark this E1. All right. So this is what we are applying this mixing rule here. F plus S and E1 plus R and P. Okay. You can also write down this E1, this equations with this second set of equations. Okay. So either you do mathematically or graphically, except you must realize that whatever X and P or whatever raffinate comes out of the stage, it's in equilibrium with this phase. It's not in equilibrium with this phase. So this line still lies on the equilibrium curve. This point also here lies on this equilibrium. So this E1 or Y1, this phase is in equilibrium with this, with the raffinate R1, not with this RNP. But the 2 points lie on the equilibrium. So when we are connected with this is not the tie line. This E1 and RNP, they are not a tie line. They are still the operating line. So we have E1. Now how do we go ahead? Now this is the what we have to do here is to realize that we are looking for del, difference point. The difference between the streams F and E1, we had a discussion earlier, R1 and E2, R2 and E3, etc., or RNP and S, etc. F minus E1, RNP minus S1, it's a del point. So difference. So difference is conserved. F minus E1 is RNP minus S, or R1 minus E2, any stress, and this is constant del. So that's the advantage of working this del here. So this E1, if you extend and you extend this line here going through 0, you will get del point. So it's very similar to our distillations, where we located the difference point del D for the rectifying sections and del B for the bottom sections, stripping sections. So here now we are working now on difference point. So first we locate M, mixing, F plus S mixing, then we obtain this E1, which is 0.25 here. All right. And then when we connect these two and extend, now we have located del points here. All right. So in fact, now based on these 4 locations, one can also show, you should be able to obtain, when you get E1 and when you get E1 Y1 as 0.25, you should be able to obtain E1 as 0.037 kg per second. Y1 from the graph we have obtained as 0.32 from graph, because it's on the equilibrium phase diagram. Okay, so all we are writing here is again F plus S as E1 plus R and P, and F xf plus sys, which is 0 here, equal to E1 Y1 plus RNP into XNP. So we know F, we know S, right? We know Y1 from the graph we have read. XNP is given to us. So two unknowns, two equations to obtain E1 0.037 here and RNP as 0.013 kg per second. Right? RNP is nothing but F plus S minus E1. Okay. So this also, we make a note of all these 4 streams, and then we have marked this del points. So del point is now known to us. Overall compositions of all 2 living streams, they are known to us. Okay. So we have stages like this, and the last stage 1, 2, we know its composition and flow rates. We know its compositions and the flow rates 3 and 4. And then we know the difference between the two, that we know del, molar flow rates, and this will also have the composition which we call it x del. These 2 points have also been located on our phase diagram. Then we can determine how many stages are required. So we will draw, or we'll go back to the same equilibrium curve. Let's redraw C, A, B, phase diagram. Started with here, pure solvent, we connected with this straight line. We have mixing point M, F, we have B, this is M. We know this X and P, which was given to us 5%, so this is 5%, this is 50%, so this is R and P. We connect this to obtain E1, last stage, alright, this is E1. And now we are connecting with this to obtain our difference points. So you have to extend this till we locate this del. Okay. Now I start from here. First stage, 2 living streams, E1 and R1 in equilibrium. Take this line, now you draw a tie line. So we have this R1. Connect this R1 with the del point. So when you're connecting it, mathematically you are saying that again this R1 and E2, difference between the two is constant, same as what we had for the feed and E1. So the difference is more kg flow rate is same. So we have R1, this intersects at E2, connect, find the tie line. This tie line need not be parallel. You have to read the equilibrium curve for Y versus X. So we have R2 here. Mark this point. R1, R2, E1, E2. Connect this. We have now E3. Take another tie line. We have now R3. Connect this to del. Mind you, all the equilibrium curve tie lines are dotted, and all the operating lines, they are solid lines. Okay, so we are following the same conventions we had for distillations. So this point here is now E4. So E1, E2, E3, 4, and again when this time where you take a tie line, you will see that this has gone below this 0.055%. This feed was 50%. All it means, we require 4 stages, 3 complete and 1 partial. Essentially, for practical purpose, we say that we require 4 stages. This tie line has gone below this 0.05, this coordinate here. So we require 4 stages. Okay. Now, one has solved graphically, but for the sake of the discussions, whatever treatment we have done graphically, one can also solve mathematically. Of course, mathematically, you require the equation for such equilibrium curve Y versus X, etc. That's one point here. Second point we want to address here, how about this R min or S min? Okay, we remember in the last class, so let's recall in our previous case, we talked of minimum amount of solvent required, And when do we require this minimum amount of solvent? That time we recall tie line or equilibrium curve coincides with the operating line. The same situation we had in case of distillations. The two lines coincide, then we require infinite number of stages and driving force goes to 0. So here question also comes, is there any possibility of operating line coinciding with this equilibrium curve? Look at the curve again. Tie lines are downward slope like this, and luckily del point is here. Operating line goes like this. So there is no way these operating lines are going to coincide with this tie lines. So here the such questions of minimum amount of solvent or the risk of any tie line becoming coinciding with this operating line does not arise. Had the del point on the left hand side, so that we have the tie line like this and also the operating line connecting to this left hand side del. Now there is a risk of this operating line coinciding with this equilibrium curve. In this case, yes, we can have del min, then take 1.5 or 1.2 times to make it del operating. All right. And when this happens, when the del point goes to the left or when it goes to the right, you should recall it depends upon the amount of solvent. If you have chosen here, this E1 is here, but if the E1 falls here because of a different amount of solvent, all right, or this mixing point goes like this, then there is a possibility that this E1 and F, if you extend, this may go back to the left hand side. All right. So of course in this example, all operating lines, we have the del on the right hand side, tie lines are like this, or in some cases it's possible, say this different system, when the operating line is on the right, del is on the right hand side, and we have all operating line going like this, but the tie lines are also on the downward. So there also we should be careful of obtaining this del mean first and then getting this operating line. All right. Now let's go back to the previous case, the example which we're discussing here, when the question asked was how much is the amount of R2 over E3, ratios of R2 and E3. So this is the last part. All right. So if you recall, we said that do we have to determine the values of R2 and E3 separately, or we can find the ratios of R2 and E3 directly. So the question here is R2 and E3, which is talking of the second stage, 1, 2, 3. This is the raffinate R2 and we are talking of E3, extract arriving from the third stage. What is the ratios? This kg per second and kg per second. All right. We know the difference, R2 minus E3. We have been asked to find out R2 over E3. How do we do this? Very quickly and very conveniently. Again, visit this equilibrium diagram previously which you have plotted. You have the phase diagram like this. This is A, this is B, this is C. You had feed. It had intersected, say, E1 at 0.32. We had extended this here. The solvent, this raffinate was at 0.05. Pure solvent, we had extended this here to get this del. This was E1. Take the tie line. This gives R1. Connect here. This gives E2. Tie line. This is R2. And now another operating line which connects to this to give us E3. So what is R2 over E3? What is the amount of raffinate leaving the stage 2 and what is the amount of extract arriving here? So what is R2 over E3? So we have a straight line like this. Del, somewhere here we have this E3 and somewhere here we have this R2. So apply lever rule, R2 over E3 equals length of the segment R for R2, excuse me, this becomes E3 segment del, so this segment over E3, so we have taken R2 dash del. So take a scale and measure this. It's all linear here. So this is a scale, measure this and measure this length without any calculations. Measure this length and measure this length. The ratios you should be able to obtain 0.45. Alright. Of course, if you go very mathematically rigorous without realizing, we can obtain these ratios. You will start with some material balance. You will say that R2 plus R2 minus C3, this is equal to del. This is also equal to F minus E1, etc. Alright. Then you will write R2 into X2. You will read from the graph. E3 into Y3, you will read this value from the graph, will also equal to del into X del, the coordinate of this difference point. This will also be equal to F into XF minus E1 into Y1. Then you, of course, you can obtain the values of R2 and E3, two unknowns, two equations. Then you can take these ratios. You should be able to convince yourself that you are getting the same results. Results same as before. But here we have made a point that if the question asked is only the ratios, then we should make use of this lever rule. Any operating line connects like this. The ratios of any points here on this between these two segments, they are in the same proportion as the amount of two streams here. Okay. So this example, what we have taken, the last example, is on multi-stage counter current. Okay. And all such statements, all such examples related to multi-stage counter current, they rely on this location of del, difference point. This is very similar to again our distillations which we did earlier. We always try to locate for del for the rectifying sections and del B for this stripping sections. So here, once we have the difference point, difference between the two streams, then we can start connecting with the two streams which are in equilibrium, two living streams from any stage, mark those on the coordinates, connect to the del point, that's the operating line, again find the new stages, find out how many stages are required till we go below this raffinate concentrations. Problem can also be rephrased, right? Given the raffinate concentrations or given the number of stages, what is the final treated concentrations? There also one should always look for this del here. Okay, we can have one more example where there is a possibility, the one thing we discuss here, the tie line becoming or coinciding with this operating line. So essentially we are looking for del min, what is the minimum amount of solvent. So that example we will take in the next lecture, where first we look at the del min, minimum amount of solvent, which gives us infinite number of stages, which requires infinite number of stages. Once we locate del min, then you take 1.2 or 1.5 times larger amount of solvent. Once we have exceeded this, then any amount of solvent will give you finite number of stages. All right. So that's the example we will take in the next lecture.